Hey book friends, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is a book haul. It is a very random book haul. It is really a stack of books from a library book sale, and then I have another stack of books from my sister where she has just kindly given them to me, so I love when she does that. But I have enough books that I need to do a haul before this gets out of control, so I wanted to share them with you. So I have thriller, historical fiction, nonfiction, middle grade, I have science fiction, I have fantasy. It's kind of all over the place. So welcome to the latest book haul. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you have been coming for a while. Like I said, a book haul, that's what we're doing today. So let's just hop in because I have a number of books to share with you and I want the time to be able to chat about them. I'll start with this one. So this is a library book sale book, All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. I don't know what this is about, but I remember hearing about it. So it sounds similar to some other books where it's about this girl who left home 10 years ago when her best friend went missing, but then she has to come back and take care of her dad, and then it sounds like more girls are going missing. I think that's about all I need to know about that. I don't ever really want to know too much about my thrillers, but I have also a Ruth Ware, so The Woman in Cabin 10. So I feel like I'm hit or miss with Ruth Ware. I like some of them, I don't like others, but I think I've only read two. So it makes me think of an Agatha Christie book, the one about the Nile River. I'm blanking on it, but it sounds like this journalist has been given an assignment to kind of report on this luxury cruise liner that has a handful of cabins, and it sounds like it's just fine and she's having a great time until she potentially hears what sounds like somebody being thrown overboard, but then she goes and everybody's accounted for and then weird things start happening. I think that sounds really good. So I have that one. I'll just do the other thriller from my library book haul. So this is The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty, and I feel like someone I follow on YouTube recommends this and I just can't remember who. It is about this woman who finds a letter that her husband wrote her that was like, open this after he dies sort of letter. But the key here is that she finds a letter while he's still alive, and the letter reveals like his deepest, darkest secret. So that just sounds really interesting. And I have never read any Leanne Moriarty, and I think it sounds fun to get into. So a historical fiction I picked up from the library book sale is Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. I've heard a lot about this book. I always was like, I'm not sure if I want to read it because it's about children. I believe the children are kidnapped and then put in this children's home, a Tennessee children's home. I'm not sure if they're like an adoption agency that like makes money off these kids or something like that. It sounded like a difficult book to read, but it sounds really interesting too. So I decided to pick it up since it was only like $2. Okay, and then I picked up this book. So it's Cleopatra, A Life by Stacy Sheff. I think this is actually nonfiction, but I'm 100% not sure if this is historical fiction or nonfiction. But honestly, why I decided to pick it up is because in our homeschool, we are currently studying ancient history. And I'm just utterly fascinated by the person of Cleopatra. And so when I saw this, I was like, maybe I'll pick that up and read more about it. Whether it is fiction or nonfiction, I feel like it could be an amazing book. So I got that one, and then I picked this one up. I saw this. So A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I really like Barack Obama. I wanted to pick up this book when it was first released, and I heard good things about it. I know it's like a beast of a book, but I enjoyed Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I feel like I would just enjoy reading a little bit more about his life and his thoughts, and I believe it goes through his presidency, so I picked that up. As for some middle grade that I picked up more for my kids and for us to do some read alouds, I picked up this book, So Finding Serendipity by Angelica Banks. We've actually read this book before. It was a couple years ago. It was too early for them to really get it, but I had it recommended by someone who was like, if you want your kids to be really interested in learning how to write or being authors or things like that, then read this book to them. I think it is about this girl named Tuesday McGillicuddy and her dog, and how her mother goes missing, and then she gets drawn into a world of stories, I think, and she has to work her way through that, and she meets someone in there who helps her, but the whole time they're really trying to find her mom. I remember it being really cute. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I wanted to get it again, either for my kids to read themselves or for us to read out loud again. And then I also picked up this Wolf Hall by Lauren Wolk. Okay, this sounds like a really sweet book about a girl who stands up against some bullies who are trying to bully a World War I vet. and she shows him kindness and stands up against the kids that are making fun of him or something like that. So that sounds sweet. Okay, and then I picked up The One and Only Ivan by Katherine Applegate. I honestly don't know what this is about other than it's on so many lists for read alouds, and it's a Newbery Award winner. And I believe it's about a gorilla named Ivan, and I believe about his friendship with a little baby elephant. I've heard really good things. I've heard it actually is kind of a tearjerker, but I don't know why. But I picked it up anyway. And then this book I picked up because my kids have recently listened to it on audio. And I actually just made a video on my other channel where I talk about how I've gotten my kids into audiobooks. They listen to like hundreds of audiobooks. So if you have kids, take a look at that video because it's my tips for getting your kids into audiobooks. But I picked this book up because they have recently been listening to it and really liking it. And it's about magic, and they just love any book about magic. And I love Neil Patrick Harris. I think he's really funny. So anyway, The Magic Misfits is that book. All right, we'll get to some books that my sister gave me. And so I have a duology here that I want to share first. And it's We Hunt the Flame is the first book, and We Free the Stars is the second book. And it's by Hafsa Fazal. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But these sound really interesting. It sounds like it's kind of about these two main characters, this girl who has to disguise herself as a man, and she kind of braves this cursed forest to help feed her family. So it feels kind of Robin Hood-esque. And then there's this boy, I think he's like the prince, and he is under his father who is just terrible, and he is sent out on various errands. And then something happens where both the girl, who's called the hunter, and the boy are sent kind of on this same errand to find a lost artifact and try and stop something bad from coming out of the forest or something to that notion. And the boy also has the job of trying to kill the hunter, which is the girl. And so I believe their stories collide, and I'm not sure if it's a fantasy romance. I'm not sure at all. But I really like the covers. And I like duologies. It's only 2 books. So I'm excited to pick those up. So here is a trilogy that my sister gave me. So these are the Fourth Realm trilogy by John 12 Hanks. And so the first one is called The Traveler. The second one is The Dark River. And the third one, The Golden City. Kind of drives me nuts that these ones have a certain look, and then this one's like blue. I don't know why. I feel like it should look the same. So this is the total trilogy though, which I like that. So if I like it, I can just breeze my way through them. So to talk about book 1 of the trilogy, it's about this world where there's certain people who are called travelers. And these travelers have always had the job of influencing the world. They're enlightened. They hold like lots of knowledge, but they're also constantly targeted by bad guys and stuff like that. But then there's this girl, Maya, who is part of the group that protects the travelers, is my basic understanding of the plot. And then there's these 2 brothers who have kind of awakened as travelers, and Maya has been summoned to go protect them. But there's also some powerful men after them. I think that's the gist. I'm sure there's a plot line more involved than that, but those are kind of the main characters and the main setup, which just sounds, I think, really interesting. I'm honestly not sure if it's sci-fi or fantasy, but I think it sounds really good. And then there's also this book. Okay, so Gallant by V.E. Schwab. So my sister gave me a fun, fancy copy. My sister's the best. She must have gotten another fancier copy, but this has like fun sprayed edges and stuff. So what I've heard about this book is it's more of a middle grade or a lower YA book about this girl who doesn't know her parents, or she doesn't know her mother, and all she has of her mother is this journal and a letter that is inviting her to this place called Gallant. And then when she shows up there, everybody's like, well, we did not invite you and we did not write that letter. And then it goes from there where she learns more about the house, the people of the house. She learns a little bit about her father and what's going on with that. So I've heard mixed things, but I love the idea of reading a more middle grade V.E. Schwab because I've tried a couple of her books and I have a mixed opinion of her so far. So I think this sounds really good. All right, and then I have this book, which a lot of people have been talking about. The second book just came out, and so I'm super stoked to pick it up. It's The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. And again, my sister gave me a very cool copy. It even has like cool, I don't even know what these pages are called, but they're beautiful. Also, I was going to pick this book up regardless because I think it sounds really, really interesting. It's about this group called the Alexandrian Society, and this society is the guardians of lost knowledge of ancient societies. And so once they become like members of this society, they're kind of protected for life. It's very prestigious, and I believe each round of like students. There's like 6 of them, but there's only 5 slots. And so you follow these 6 students throughout this year or whatever it is, and then see who doesn't make it. I've heard really good things. I've heard that the end has surprised people. I just think that sounds great. I think it sounds a little like twisty, like almost dark academia, but I'm not totally sure. So I really want to read that one. And then the last one, yes, this is the last book I have here, is called This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. And I think it's a standalone fantasy book. Standalone YA fantasy book is my understanding of it. Oh, and it also has to do, maybe it's a science fiction, it has to do with an ancient Ottoman army. So I think that means like robots. Clearly, I'm not super versed in this genre. It's about this girl named Karis who is looking for her brother. She can't find her brother, but as she's looking for her brother, she awakens this hidden Ottoman and intelligent with a conscience of his own named Alex. Okay, so yes, a robot that can think for himself. Clearly, I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, they team up, but then people learn about them and start tracking them and trying to hunt her as she is with the robot. I realize I'm not explaining that well, but it sounds cool. And also, again, very beautiful edition. It's a Fairy Loot edition, which sounds really fun. So anyway, yes, that's my book haul. I have picked up a number of books and I just really wanted to share them with you before I picked up more books, and then it just becomes overwhelming because that's how it goes around here sometimes, is it just becomes too overwhelming. But anyway, so yes, let me know what you think of my complete hodgepodge of books in this haul. If you've read any of them, what you think of them, if you think I should prioritize any of them. But otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. And otherwise, I will see you in the next book video. All right, take care.